Oh. Hey, don't bet on my head, but I'm in my Bible and I'm reading Psalm 7, and this has been David's like praying for justice. But what's really sticking out to me is David isn't just praying for God to act justly on those who is persecuting him or trying to transgress against him. David is also like telling God that if it is himself who has caused like his own iniquity, or who has, because of his own actions, rewarded evil upon himself, he's asking God to allow that to be carried out. He's asking God to judge him according to his righteousness as well. He's not leaving himself out of God's judgment or this prayer for justice. And that stuck out to me because I remember when I first started my walk with Christ, that was a lot happening to me. Like, not even like people doing things to me, but just a lot of things going wrong or just being in the way. And I can remember one time I was taking out the trash and something was just happening, and it was like throwing me off. Like, it was really out of my control, or I didn't see nobody hands cause this to mess up, right? So, and I'm just talking to God. I'm like, if this just another consequence, or this just another thing I gotta go through because of all my actions, or is this just another trial, or just if this is just your wrath over top of me right now, I accept it. And I remember just saying, what's next? As in, I'm accepting the punishment that I'm currently under, because part of me understand whatever I'm going through was caused by my own hand. And I'm sitting here and I'm reading it, and in verse 10 he says, my defense is of God, which saveth the upright in heart, right? And in my notes I said, but like David, we can be rest assured knowing our defense is the Almighty God, and he judges all justly to the integrity of the heart, right? And I'm sitting here and I'm like, bruh, I understand that once God brings you into his presence and he sanctifies you and he saves you and he starts this pruning process, or just this purifying process, it's like you're not going to immediately stop sinning. Like, you might have a good run for a couple months of you not falling into sin or stumbling or just falling short, right? Or just being in his word every day. Like, you might have a good run. And I heard a word where it said, don't treat it like a shriek, which I tend to do. So I'm sure others who are in the faith tend to do it as well, like unknowingly or knowingly, just whatever it may be. But what I was saying, but you might go on that little shriek, right? And then you might fall, and you might fall back into your old ways, and it might take you a little minute to get from out of that again. Then you might fall again, and it might be hard for you to catch that shriek, or just that period of time of you not falling into sin. And for me, I'm really hard on myself, right? And the leeway that God gives me, or the mercy and grace that he be having over me, bro, I really don't understand it, or be feeling like I deserve it, or be feeling like I'm worthy of it, because never in my life was this ever extended to me in this way. Like, never. Like, never in my life was the level of love and grace and mercy that God has for me, was that ever given to me by any mortal or human. Humans have grace. Don't get me wrong. There's people in my life who have shown me grace and have shown me mercy, but never like God. To a point where it's shocking to know how much patience that God really has and still not know his level of patience or still not know his level of grace. Of course, God has his wrath. Like, everyone preached the message that God is love, which he is, but he also has his other side of him that hates our wicked ways, that hates our sinful ways, that hates when we leave his presence knowingly giving into things that is not of him and enabling ourselves. And I understand I'm not the only one. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I get that. I know I'm not the only one. And like my pastor, he said he had to get baptized like 6 times. But for me, I don't even be giving myself that amount of grace to even want to go through that or feel like I should have to go through that. You feel me? Like, I asked him to baptize me again just because the first time I didn't do it right. I didn't do it to the level I feel like I should have done, in the way that God came into my life and just took it by storm and took control over everything in every aspect. I don't feel like I've repaid him the way that I should have. You feel me? And I'm sitting here trying to understand, like, the reason why I can't understand the love and the grace that he got over me, or just him, is because I've never experienced this before. Not personally. Growing up, of course, your grandma or whoever might take you to church, and they feeding you what they know about God from their relationship. They doing this because this is what they're told to do. They're told to bring up those around them in his word. They're told to spread his word to those around him. They're told to do that. You feel what I'm saying? So in their act of obedience, they just doing them, not even understanding that they probably do, but at some point in our life, we gonna have to experience this for ourselves. We gonna have to choose him for ourselves. And I think that's another reason why God kind of allows us to leave his presence at that point in our life when we do. I remember having a conversation with my cousin, and I'm going to kind of cut this short because I need to get back in my word, because time ticking, the morning going to be rising up and everyone going to be woke, and it's going to, you feel me? But my cousin said, why is it that when people have a traumatic experience or when there's something happening in their life, why is it that they always return in their faith? And I was like, because maybe they scared or they don't want to face what they going through, this, that, and the third. And he was like, yeah, I feel that. But why do they do that though? And I probably gave him some response. I can't remember the response I had, but it was probably something on the lines of like, something on the lines that I didn't stand on myself. So, but that's because when you faced with a problem that only God can handle, you ain't got no choice. And sometimes God allows certain things to pass through his hands just so he can bring you back into his presence, so he can have all of your attention. Like, and even with him having all of your attention, on him just revealing certain parts of his character and who he is. Like, recently, the other day, God just revealed his name to me. Like, his personal name. The personal name that allows us to have a personal relationship with him. I always knew it, but he actually revealed it to me. You feel what I'm saying? It's a difference when I feel like you know something about God and God reveals what you know about him to you. You feel me? And it's crazy, bro, because there's so much about him that I don't even know, and I be feeling like I don't know him. I be feeling like I don't know him. But there's a part of me that knows I know him, but I don't know him. Like, when they say God is uncomprehendable, it's true. Because I'm sitting here trying to figure out, how am I going to accept this level of leeway that God has for me while feeling like I'm truly undeserving of it because I'm rightfully him. But he's great. Like, his love can never be explained. Like, you know how they say you never too far gone, bro? Like, you really never too far gone. Even in your repentance, when you feeling like, bro, I ain't trying to hear that, or I don't even deserve this. I think that's us fooling ourselves. But of course he get disappointed. Or I feel like he get disappointed at least. But I don't feel like the way we look at it is the way he look at it. And I don't think we'll never really understand that until we in his presence. And that's scary enough because it's only by his grace will we even be allowed to stay in his presence. And it's crazy because I understand that being here on earth is like our trial period, bruh. Like, we never was meant to stay here, but it's our trial period. It's like God left enough signs for us to be like, if they want me, they'll find me. They want me, they'll seek me. There's a set group of people who God already set apart. And I don't think people really understand that. And it's not even in the way of, I don't even think that's in the way we look at it as in showing favoritism, which it is, but it isn't, because we still go through the same things that everyone else go through in this world that hasn't been set apart, that isn't his. Like, we are his creation, but it's a difference when you actually his child. You feel what I'm saying? And the free will he gives us, because even in heaven we got free will, but this is the trial period to see what will we do with the free will that he has granted us. How will we use that? Because how we use it here will show how we'll use it in heaven. And I know it takes time for us to get to a certain point where we don't keep misusing our free will. But for me, it's like, when I'm going to get there? Is it me not trying hard enough? Am I not in your word enough that you foresee all of this? Which I believe he did. But how can I get to that point? And why are you so patient with me? Why are you allowing me to go through all of this? Why are you allowing me? Like, why? I keep falling down and get back up. And every time I do, you're right there. But why? I don't understand it. Like, I never had this level of leeway before. So it's hard to believe I really got it. It's hard to believe, or it's hard to accept it. I want it, and I need it, but it's hard for me to truly accept this level of leeway that God has over my life. It's not crazy. It's not scary. It's none of those things. It's incomprehensible.